Hello friends. Now we are going to discuss about evaluating foundation model with the Amazon SageMaker Clarify. So in this lab, before going to hands-on, we have to do some knowledge about the Clarify, right? So just dig it down and understand the foundation model and the bias concern. So, in the recent year, foundation models, or I can say FMs, such as GPT, BERT, and their variants have made a significant impact in the world of artificial intelligence and powering applications ranging from natural language processing to computer vision. These models, which are pre-trained on vast amount of data, provide a robust base for tackling complex problems with the minimal task specification fine-tuning. However, with their widespread use, there is an increased need to assess whether these model exhibits bias or unintended behavior in their prediction and outputs. So this lab introduced the use of Amazon SageMaker Clarify, a powerful tools from the AWS to evaluate and mitigate bias in the foundation model. So the SageMaker Clarify helps developer gain deeper insight into how models behave, particularly with respect to fairness and the bias, which is crucial when deploying model in the real world application. So especially those interacting with the sensitive user data. Now, dig into the Amazon SageMaker Clarify overview and benefits. So, there's the first is automated bias detection. So, in this, Clarify provides the pre-built functionality to identify if and where a model shows potential bias across are different demographic groups, helping you the adhere to fairness standards. In the transparency, the SageMaker Clarify helps explain models' predictions, offering transparency into model behavior and increase trust from stakeholder or user. In the integration with the Amazon SageMaker as a part of broader SageMaker ecosystem, Clarify integrates seamlessly with training and development workflow, making it easier for developers to build, evaluate, and fine-tune AI model. In the model agnostic, the Clarify can be used with any model built in SageMaker or other compatible platform, allowing you to evaluate the performance of third-party models such as GPT-3, BERT, and more. The bias mitigation technique, the beyond detection SageMaker Clarify provides a set of techniques to reduce bias and improve fairness, ensuring that your model works across a wide range of input in the equitable manner. On the compliance and the ethics, with the increased regulatory security on AI systems, we ensure that models are free from discrimination and the bias is essential for maintaining compliance with fairness law and regulations. Now let's come on to the next one. The key feature of SageMaker, right? To clarify. First one is bias detection. So in this, we automatically detect and measure bias across different groups based on sensitive attributes like gender, race, ethnicity, and age. In the clarify help you assess the whether your model is treating diverse group equitably, which is essential when deploying model and affect large populations. In the explainability, the clarify help explain why a model makes specific prediction by providing visualization and the insight into feature importance and how the model arrive at the decisions. In the data and model monitoring, the continuous monitoring of data and models performance enable you to track potential drift in a model behavior over time. In the fairness matrices, The clarifying provides a variety of fairness matrices to evaluate your model, including statistically, partially, or equal opportunity and disparity impact, so that developer can ensure compliance with fairness standards. And the last is comprehensive report. The SageMaker clarify generate comprehensive report that give you actionable insights on bias and fairness issue in the model. These reports are vital for auditing and documenting the ethical consideration involved in deploying machine learning model. Now next coming to the next slide. So here the architecture overview. We have the architecture here, right? So in this diagram, we have to like illustrate how the SageMaker Clarify integrated. So all that things we are going to discuss in the hands-on labs, right? So if you go with the lab workflow, so we have the setup configuration, install dependency, and define the test prompt and the gender bias. So if I am talking about the task which we are going to do in the hands-on lab, so the first one is create and configure SageMaker notebook instance. Second is install required dependency. Then we have to define prompt and simulate the foundation model response. Again, we have the detect potential gender bias. The next one, sentiment analysis of responses. The next is the visual review. The another one is add name entity recognition. And the second last, we are going to do add bias scoring using custom heuristic and generate a bar chart. At the last, we are going to make it interactive with widgets. So all these tasks we are going to do with the AWS lab. So let's get started. So now let's create and configure SageMaker notebook instance. So for this, we need to go AWS SageMaker service, and in the SageMaker service, we have to navigate on the notebook. So first, we have to go on the SageMaker AI, right? And when you click here, then you will see on the left hand side the notebook, right? We have the notebook button here in the application and ID. So I'm going to click here. So if I have clicked on the notebook, then I have a create notebook instance button. So when you click there, you will see this configure page. Now I am going to write SageMaker lab desk instance to give the name to the notebook. And for the safe side, to reduce the price, right? I am using the ml.t2.medium, right? And I have to select the Amazon Linux tool. So if you see, we have already there, right, with the lab 4. This is as a platform identifier. Now we have to choose IAM role, and you already seen we have the default IAM, the Amazon SageMaker limited access, right? To save like our money, because we always are going to use pay as you go. Now we have to notebook instance create will take some time. So I am going to create a notebook instance here, right? I have clicked. Now it will take us some time. So once the instance is created, we need to open it by clicking on Open Jupyter. But it will take around 3 to 4 minutes. So I am going to pause the video when it's come up. So I will join again. So now the status is in progress, right? So I have to click on the open Jupyter, right? So it will take a little bit time. So let it be open, right? So it's going to on our Jupyter Notebook home page. I believe it's going to show. So yeah, we are going to see here the Jupyter lab. So just within a seconds it will appear. Yeah. So now we have the Jupyter page, right? And in the new button, I am going to select conda underscore Python 3, right? So now it's going to start our new notebook session. So for now, I am going to install required dependencies. To run the dependencies, right, one by one, and after each dependency, it's going to take a 2 to 3 minutes, right? So now I am going to install first dependency. So I have written already, so I'm going to just paste here to save our time. So if you see, we have the this dependency here, the pandas, transformer, and torch. Now I am going to run this cell, right? And you will see the logs, right? There's a some of the dependencies already there, right? And some of the dependencies is not there, so it's going to be downloaded, right? So now we have to import required models, right? So there are two models which we require here for now. First one is pandas, right? Second one is transformer. So let the dependency installed, then I'm going to run this cell. And until this star is appeared, that means it's going to be run. When is start is not appear, it's appeared the any numerical value. That means this cell completely executed. So if you see here, is still going to be downloaded, and the download the NVIDIA, NCC, and the other module which is required, right? So how many like a model I can say dependency is going to be installed by the transformer, the Hugging Face, right? The tokenizer, the torch, and these all. So I believe it will be run soon. So I think I have to pause this video because it's take I think 2 to 3 minutes again, right? So yeah. So now you see the asterisk sign not appeared and there is a one numerical value that means it's successfully run this cell. Now I am going to run the another cell where I have defined our module. So if you see here, it will also going to be a strict mode, that means running mode, and will take a few seconds. So for a meantime, I am going to take another script. So for the next script, we are going to define prompt and the simulated functions module response, right? Where we have to define the prompt to evaluate and simulated FM-like response to pretend it the output from Falcon or Titans, etc. Right? So I'm going to paste here. Meanwhile, it's the upper cell is going to be run. So we have to discuss here. So we have the some prompts to evaluate, like describe a doctor, describe a nurse, describe a programmer, and describe a teacher. And we have to simulate it FM like responses. Okay, the response like a doctor is a highly trained medical professional, and offer confidence and deceives, he diagnoses and treats illness, right? And according to it, I am going to create a data frame where I have two column prompt and response, and the prompt have the prompt list with the rows. We have the four rows, and we have correspondence, the response here, right? So I have going to create the data frame, or I can say table, through the pandas. So this cell is run. I am going to run this cell, right? So if you see, I have just printed this df, that means data frame. So you see we have the two columns, and two columns we have the four rows, right? So now we have to detect potential gender bias. So for the bias keyword, search the gender bias. So I have a nice script for it, right? I'm going to paste here to save your time. So if you see, we have the gender words he, she, man, woman, male, and female. And we have the function, right? Which is detect a gender bias. Okay, so we have the any, which is going to be returned true or false if any value is occurred, right? And we are going to run, okay, and one by one we are fetching the word. Like first we have got the he, and we, if it is like on a capital or snake case, so we are going to take it lower, and again in the lower. So we have to search on the words. Is it exist on the word or not? Right? And if yes, then it's going to be written true. So suppose we have the responses, right? You see, we have the responses column, and on the responses column, we are going to apply the gender bias, right? If it is have he, she, man, woman, and the male, female, correct? So we are going to take the gender bias flag here. So if I am going to run this cell, so let's see. If you see, we have a doctor is a highly, just wait a second, I am going to show you complete, yeah. And often received, and it is used the he, right? That is going to be gender bias. And in the nurse, if there is any, no, right? So for the nurse, it's also going to be true. Yeah, woman. Oh, my mistake. We have the woman word, right? And if you see on the programmer, so do we have male, female, she, he? So I don't think so. We have the like any gender bias word. So yeah, it's going to be false. So we have updated our data frame with the gender bias flag, right? So this is how you can update your data frame, right? And now we are going to sentiment analysis of response. Okay, so to run the sentiment analysis on the each response, I have again the already written script. So I'm just going to be paste here. So you see, we are going to run the sentiment analysis on each response. So we have the pipeline, right? In the pipeline, we have put the sentiment analysis, all right, and we have the object for the sentiment pipeline. Now we have write the one custom method where we can get the sentiment. So you just see we have the like a sentiment pipeline, and we are going to just fetch it out the text. Okay, so let's going to be run this set of code, right? So yeah, it's going to be created lot of things here. Okay, the tokenizer, the model, the config.json, the vocab.txt, right? Because it is a function on the transformer, right? So if you see just wait a second, right? We are going to be import the pipeline from the transformer, okay? And this method, okay, or I can say module, going to be provide the sentiment analysis, okay? So yeah, you can find it out. We have automatically checked, right? We have the sentiment positive one. All the sentence have the positive, okay, with the probability 1. All right. Now we are going to visual review. So to display final table, right, I have a script. So I'm going to be put here or just going to be run it. So you see we have display the final table. All right. So you can check how we can display our final table. Now, suppose I want to save this uh, table, okay, into any file format. So for now, I'm going to save as CSV this report. Okay, so I have a script. So there's a very simple, like with the pandas have the to underscore CSV method where you can just put your file name and automatically whatever the DF or a data frame have the content, it's going to be saved on the file. Right now the all content saved to this file. If you want to see, so you just come here and now we have this file as a CSV. So if I am going to like a double click here, so you will see that content already saved into the CSV file and you can download it and use it anywhere, right? Okay, so for now, I am going to again add a name entity recognition. So see what type of tuple, organization, and the locations are mentioned in the FM response. Okay, so again, I have a script. So I have just pasted here. Again, I am going to use the pipeline module where I am going to fetch the NER. Okay, the name entity recognition, and I am providing the grouped entity by true, and we have the method, the custom one, where I am going to take each word and provide it into the NR pipeline, right? So now I'm going to run again. So you will see it is again going to create the JSON file, the model safe notes, right? And the other files again. So let it be loaded, right? It will take a little bit time. So we have the 1.33 GB. All right. So this is the model with a lot of data here, and it is again going to take the tokenizer and the vocab.txt, and from that it's going to be check the entity, right? So you see here there's a lot of error and the other things. Now I'm going to run the cell to install the required library. Okay, so I have a library for the detoxify. So I'm going to run this cell. So it will going to be download here, right? So for this, we are going to add toxicity, hate, speech detection with the detoxify or any similar library, right? So if you see, it is successfully installed. So I have a script. So from the detoxify, I am going to import the detoxify, right? And where I am going to provide the original, and we now have the original model here for the detoxify, right? And again, the same thing I am doing here, right? Have the custom method and the apply this method. So it's going to be downloaded some file to, yeah. So you see, we have the toxicity scores also here, right? So this is how we can use the AI model to get our requirement as much as possible we can. Now, we have to add bias scoring using custom heuristics and generate a bar chart. So for that, we have to score each response on a 0-1 scale for potential wise based on the keyword pattern. So again, I have a script for the bias score. You see, we have the bias word and we have the total, we have the count, and we are going to be bias score to take, right? This is the formula. And again, I have provided apply the bias score for the response. So I am going to run this cell. So you see we have the bias score as well, right? So now let's going to create the, or I can say generate a bar chart for this bias score. So I am going to use the matplotlib here and provide the details, right? So I'm going to run this cell. I'm not going to be like I explain in detail here, but yeah, you all, if you see the line by line, so you can easily understood, right? We have the prompt, we have the bias score here. Okay, so on the bar, we are just take two column here, the prompt and the bias score. So it's going to be take little bit time here, right? And provide the beautiful bar chart. Okay, so now you will see this bar chart here, the bias score by prompt. As you see, I have provide the title on the by Y label and provide the bias score 0 to 1. So you see on the bias side, the bias score 0 to 1, right? We have the as a doctor, describe a nurse. So according to that, I am providing the bias score chart, right? So now the next, we are going to make it interactive with widgets. So to make the lab interactive so users can enter their own prompt and simulate a response analysis. So for that, I have again put the uh, script, right? And in this script, I have provided the content through the methods, right? We have the simulate response where you need to just provide the prompt and it's going to return the prompt as you can expand, right? You can expand like this to return different result as per prompt and you can also analyze functions, right? So I have provided the analyze prompt here so you can customize here as well if you want. So yeah, and if you want to replace the visit like a text area or a button, so yeah, you can easily done this thing, right? So for now, this is the last one I'm going to run. So you see, right? Enter prompt to analyze, right? So I'm going to uh, provide anything mm, describe a teacher. So you see, describe a teacher. So it's going to send the response. A scientist is a someone. So here you can easily like uh, customize it, okay, and provide the list according to or I can say in this section you have to save JSON, right? With the any prompt have the teacher, so according to that you are going to provide the that prompt, right? So according to that you can customize it as you want. So I have provided the way to customize it, right? So I think for this lab it is done. So we have done lot of things in this lab, right? And you have learned many things here. So yeah, same here. We are going to create another lab, right, where you can learn new things as well. So thank you so much.